Hey everybody, it's Toys of Arkham here, and I'm back with another review, and this is I suppose, two-in-one review. I'm reviewing the Hot Toys Batman Forever figures, and they are obviously Batman as played by Val Kilmer, and the Robin there was played by Chris O'Donnell. A somewhat of a, how would you put it, a controversial movie. Batman Forever was a bit of a departure from the darker tones that were in the original Burton movies in '89 and then Batman Returns. But it depends, I suppose, of what time of your life this came out at. I was 15, I think, at the time. I think this came out in '96, and I thoroughly enjoyed it at the time, really liked it. The marketing was great, the posters and the buses and the bus stops were all very cool, and I just liked the general art direction. The actors in it were cool as well. I always was a big fan of Jim Carrey, and yeah, I actually enjoyed the movie. And it was not until recently where I watched a making of Batman Forever video on YouTube that I really began to appreciate the effort that went into it overall, in the props and set designs. Of course, back then everything was done with practical effects. There was no CGI. So if you watch it again with that in mind, I think you'll really appreciate the effort that went into the movie. Okay, it wasn't as good as Batman the original and Batman Returns, but it was still a fun movie, a different interpretation of the character, and yeah, I enjoyed it. So this was, I suppose, a purchase that brought back some nostalgic feeling from the mid-90s. And this particular set would represent how they were towards the final scene of the movie, when they were going to fight Two-Face and the Riddler. So this is a known as the Sonar suit, and that was obviously Robin's final suit that he wore after he stopped. I think did he wear his circus suit for a bit, or maybe not. But anyway, that's his final suit for the final battle scene. And yeah, they're cool. So actually what we'll do is we'll have a look at the accessories first. So Robin actually doesn't really come with anything other than a pair of hands. And as you'll see, these hands are all the same design. They're the same design on the figures themselves. So actually, if you buy Batman and Robin, I suppose you've much more options with hands for Robin, and you wouldn't know the difference. So he only comes with two hands, and actually at this stage, I just put them all in the one bag, and I can't tell which comes with him, but he does just come with two hands. So unfortunately, he's not packing a lot of accessories. And but then again, if you get Batman Forever, this Batman, he will come up more, so you can swap them out. Anyway, so we've got all these little gadgets. I haven't put them on him yet. I don't really know what they're for. I probably won't use them. It is nice to have the options. I know that you can take out the eyes in the sculpt and then put in the Sonar eyes underneath the cowl, which is cool. And then there's this grapple hook, and this is to adjust the eyes. I think the eyes move, or maybe that's just to take this out. But yeah, you can put them into different poses, obviously using different hands for different expressions that you want to pull off. And yeah, a fair bit of accessories comes with Batman, but not Robin, just two hands. So just starting here with, actually we'll start with Robin actually and leave Batman to the end. So these are stands that are the exact same. They have the Batman Forever symbol with the Riddler question mark, and then the green in the middle. It's nice. It's not too much detail, but it is nice. The suit itself is a rubber texture. It's quite actually nearly sticky to the touch. The boots don't have any articulation in them. So, you know, depending on what pose you want to put him in, you're probably limited by that. The suit itself is very vibrant. There's obviously sunlight coming in here at the moment, and but I suppose you can see just that kind of sheen. There is a little bit of gloss on that suit. I really like the suit. It's very accurate to the movie. I can't see anything wrong with it. I like the colors, pops. You know, if you're into Batman, generally speaking, it's hard to come by a Robin figure of any sort in 1/6 scale. And this is obviously an official release rather than third party. So I actually don't even think there's ever been an official release Robin, other than obviously the 1966 one. But then again, sure, there haven't been any Robins on the big screen, so why would they make one? Other than the video game one, I suppose. But anyway, point is, not many Robins. Here's one now, and I think you'll agree, he looks pretty cool. So in terms of the sculpt, I think they really nailed Chris O'Donnell here. His likeness is really good. This kind of mask doesn't come off, but I don't think that would bother anybody. The hair looks nice. Cape at the back, it's good. You know, Hot Toys generally don't get the capes very, they don't do the capes very well usually, but this cape is nice. It is sort of a leather material. Obviously it has that yellow on the inside. Actually has a wire running through it too, so you can get some nice poses out of it and different looks. Sorry, now that the sun has gone in, you can get a better look at his face. Yeah. Has the R for Robin in the middle of the mask. Don't think I ever noticed that before. So I actually had him in not even that extreme of a pose. I just had his arm up like that and him looking kind of down and this sort of thing. And I noticed that when I left it like that for a day or two, it actually had caused a bit of a, wouldn't call it a crack, but certainly something happened there, like a crease. So unfortunately this suit suffers from, you know, that issue where you get a permanent crease if you leave it for too long. These are quite weak, these little spiky things, so be very careful with them. I already had one of them fall off one of my Batman Returns figures, and I have to probably pay about 50-60 quid just to get one of those replaced. Like, it's ridiculous, but it is what it is. The eyes on this guy are cool as well. Like, in terms of posability, it is a big rubber suit. Like, you will, I'm not going to do it now, but you can probably see it in other videos from other reviewers, but you can get pretty decent poses out of them. But again, I wouldn't do anything that you intend to leave them in long term, because I think that suit might crack, or certainly something will crease like that, unfortunately. The suit is almost has like moisture to it. It's weird. It's like it's almost, I suppose that's the best way I can describe it. There's almost moisture in it. So if you're in a climate where there's dry air and you're not getting your room that you display these in is not ventilated enough, this could easily, I think, dry out. And I think then if you start posing him after that happening, it'll just crack. It just looks really good though. I'm not taking away from the figure. It absolutely looks magnificent, and I don't think they could have done a better job. but at the same time, I can see things happening with this down the line. So just moving on to Batman. So again, same thing with this suit. It is a suit that I can see similar issues happening with. Again, this sort of creasing. I'm being a bit of a hypocrite because I don't like when people complain about creasing on suits, because in any like in reality and in the movies, there has to have been creases. It's fabric. The only reason you don't see creases on the modern day characters is that it's mostly CGI you're seeing now. So of course the likes of Spider-Man and Iron Man and all these guys don't have creases because it's just ultra perfect on screen. They use CGI the whole time. This is real fabric. This was a real suit. There were no CGI effects used, so you're going to get actual creases, and so you live with that, and your figure isn't going to be perfect unless you intend to use these figures almost like statues and leave them as is. Be prepared to see creases. Be prepared to possibly damage your figure, but you know, just live with it. This is cool. Some Batman figures, I find it hard to put the arms down by the sides. You can see that one does fairly flush. Boots again don't have a separation in them, so limited articulation. The suit itself, like if you have a Batman from 89 or 91, or sorry 92, you're going to have problems posing it. Like the suit will naturally want to push his arm down and put him back into the resting position that it's in there. But again, you can probably put him into a pretty decent pose for a couple of seconds, leave him like that, take a picture, and then that's that. Put him back to a normal pose like this. In terms of the cowl, I like this overall design. I like this suit. I think this is the suit that they used to screen test for Batman Begins. I think when the actors were doing their auditions to play Batman, I think they put them in this suit, or it certainly was a Batman Forever suit. And you can certainly see the inspiration that this suit had on Batman Begins, just even in terms of the insertion points of the cowl and cape. And there's a little bit of an influence here on the Batman Begins suit, I would have thought as well. The cowl is different, has the longer ears, but it kind of has a kind of a modern or futuristic look to it. Does it have the likeness to Val Kilmer? I'd say it does. I mean, yeah. I think the paint is a little bit soft around the face, but still very nice figure. And I do predominantly collect Batman figures, so I had to have this set one way or the other. The suit itself has a sort of a sheen to it. It's almost like a speckle in the paint, and under the right lighting that really does pop. I do like it. The cloak or the cape is actually excellent. This cape is, if you have the Justice League Batman Batfleck, you will have gotten this cape, almost an identical cape to this, on that figure. So if you have that figure, you know what the cape is like, and it is very nice. It drapes quite well. Of course, as we always say, nothing a bit of futzing wouldn't fix. Is futzing even a word, or is that something that collectors made up? I find myself using the word futzing now. Anyway, is what it is. So, a beautiful figure. You're probably less likely to break these off than you are on the Robin. They're very weak. This is a bit more sturdy. But the overall design of these two has great shelf presence. Really good shelf presence for these two. And I don't think you can really buy one of these without the other. Genuinely, it's one of those, I suppose, sets that you have to buy in tandem. I wonder now, will they go on and do a George Clooney Batman? And probably not. Although, as I said, I have a newfound respect for those movies. I don't think Joel Schumacher gets, I suppose, the type of recognition and respect that he does deserve. At the time, the toy companies were heavily involved in the product designs and the costumes, props, sets. And I think Chris O'Donnell said in an interview that for Batman Forever, he felt like he was shooting a movie, but for Batman and Robin, he felt like he was shooting like almost a 2-hour toy commercial. So that just shows you the different approach that was made to that film. But it's fun nonetheless. It's always good to have these different interpretations of these characters. And of course, we were lucky to have the masterpiece of the Nolan trilogy follow all this up. So, you know, it's not the end of the world. We can always go back and dip into this less serious version of Batman whenever we choose. And I remember at the time, I loved the Kenner toys that came out after this film. So there was a really cool Batcave and Wayne Manor set. And obviously the Batman Forever Batmobile was great, and all the little figures. So yeah, it was good times. And I'm delighted now, being a man in his early 40s, moving on to Hot Toys and higher end figure collecting, that I can get some of my old figures like these in a on steroid form. So these are, I mean, if I had these when I was younger, wow. Though I probably just would have put them on the shelf and looked at them rather than played with them. They are very, very cool. So that concludes my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and please like, comment, and maybe consider subscribing. And if you have any questions about this, these sets or these figures, please give me a shout and I'll get back to you when I can. Otherwise, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.